It's needless to say that Shadow Generations is one of, if not the best Sonic game to release in years. I'm not kidding when I say this is starting to become one of my all-time favorite video games. This title is a love letter to everything Shadow and his stories, and with the release of the Tokyo level from Sonic Movie 3, and the movie itself coming out, which was great by the way, I thought it would be a great opportunity to do a definitive ranking of all the stages in the game, because man, you guys love my ranking videos. We will be going over every major stage in the game, and as for the original ranking, I will be combining both acts of each zone together, so that way we can talk about them as a full package. I won't be covering the challenge acts, but that's another video for the future. But with all that out of the way, you guys ready? Cause here we go! The Space Colony arc is the perfect first level for Shadow. Not only is it a perfect adaptation of the SA2 level in the boost, but provides a great opportunity for the player to learn how to use Shadow's mechanics, like Chaos Control and Chaos Spear. Going inside of the arc and seeing it open up was such a treat. This level is very big while still having that type boost design Sonic is known for. That applies to Act 2 even more so. Act 2 may be 2D, but it feels so expansive. You can beat the level in so many different ways thanks to Shadow's abilities. And the cherry on top is the spectacle to gameplay ratio. It's seamless. You'd figure this is some Insomniac game. This is how you do spectacle in 3D Sonic. The levels feel like a roller coaster. S tier. Rail Canyon was always one of my favorite looking levels from Sonic Heroes. However, due to the heroes'
What? That's like the most important thing. Yeah, what the hell was that? What happened?
quirks, my hands always sweat when I play it. This is not the case in Shadow. Sure, you could say the gameplay is a bit more shallow without the old rail mechanics, but let's be real, this is your average Rail Canyon playthrough in Heroes. However, I would argue that Shadow Generations keeps you on your toes with the amount of bandits throwing spikes, blowing up rails, and even Black Doom trying to stop you. You are constantly having to switch rails and avoid hazards. Act 2 really carries the zone. This level was made for 2D. It feels like I'm playing an advanced or rush game. Rails without any balancing works best for 2D, and the level design reflects that. B tier. When it comes to the actual Sunset Heights part of the stage, I think it's simply wonderful. I love how we get to see the city during the daytime, going through and out of the shelters, and its level gimmicks are fun and keep you on your toes, like the water spurts. And going up against the Death Egg robots with dynamic choreography made me tear up a little bit, I won't lie. I'm sure some of you remember my Forces video. Well, this right here is what I imagined Sonic Forces was going to be. The Death Egg robots actually being hazards in the level as opposed to glorifying backgrounds. It's validating. The catch here, at least with Act 1, is Doom coming back with his illusions. Don't get me wrong, I love these segments of the level, but it makes me wish we got more actual Sunset Heights. Like instead of using Radical Highway, Doom starts messing with Sunset Heights. Act 2 makes up for it, yeah, being largely inside of the building like Ghost Town, but I feel like more could have been done with Act 1. Still a great level, don't get me wrong, but I was expecting a tad bit more. 8 out of 10 is still a great score though, so B tier. Kingdom Valley was always one of my favorite Sonic levels of all time, even in the original 06. Its level design and themes were just that good, and I'm so happy to say that this applies to Shadow's Kingdom Valley tenfold, and is way better than his version of 06. This level really shines with its sprawling paths. And no, I'm not talking about forces where alternate paths were there just for the sake of it. In Kingdom Valley, you can run on the wall, stomp on the rope, be rewarded by doing some tricky homing attacks. There's a new path almost at every turn. Even after replaying the level a bunch of times, I still discover new stuff. For example, I just learned you can use the Chaos Control during the Surf segment and Doom Blast this enemy to reach an even higher part of the stage. I found that so cool. This game will have me finding new stuff for years down the road. Act 2 is also just as good. Makes good use out of the Doom Blast and Chaos Control. Don't want to get crushed by these platforms. Not to mention, this stage looks gorgeous. The lighting is incredible, water effects look crisp and breathtaking, shattering through the stained glass gave me the fuzzies. Needless to say, this stage gets S tier, baby! S tier! I truly think that Chaos Island is one of the best stages in 3D Sonic history. Where do I even begin? Let's start with the fact that I think this stage looks stunning! It makes the original Frontiers version look like doo-doo. The lighting inside of the temple and holy cow, the volcano effects look amazing! And you even get to see the other areas of the island in Act 2, such as the hot springs. This stage makes use out of all of Shadow's abilities. Chaos Control, Doom powers, the Chaos Spear. There's never a dull moment in this level. The Chaos Spear can be used to make platforms appear, much like Frontiers, but this time you actually continuously move while doing so. Making platforms appear in Frontiers felt really off, but here it's an actual stage gimmick and requires actual skill to do so at a quick pace. It felt so good to suck at 3D Sonic for once, learning how to properly use all my abilities to proceed instead of just hold right here. And I know he's controversial, but I love the Doomorph too. He does have a learning curve, but once you learn, man, this guy opens up the level more than it already is. Going upside down with the morph adds a new level of thrill. If you didn't like the Doomorph, give him another chance. Every time I fall off and think I'm gonna die, there's always another path I can take. That never happened in the last few Boost games. Chaos Island feels like an amusement park ride you get to be a part of. Every time you think it's going to end, there's even more. On the surface, in the Ancient's temples, going through the lava, this level perfectly encapsulates the scope of Frontiers, and that's a crazy achievement. And I know some aren't thrilled with the music here, but once it gets going, it's one of the best tracks in the game. S tier is not going to suffice for this. We need a new tier for this peak level. Wait a minute. Peak? P tier, baby! P tier! Radical Highway is the embodiment of trippy. This stage does the entire illusion concept better than any of the recent games that had it. This seems like a concept from Forces finally realized. For example, instead of just seeing floating spinning roads in the background, you get to actually platform on them, and it can get tricky. This is the level where the Doom Wings truly get to shine, and it's super smooth and fluid, adds a lot of flair. It seems to me that this is the blueprint of what a Supersonic could play like in the future, and I'm down for that. It's very fun. But I also think this makes the level more dull, like just flying over the obstacles is what I originally thought about the level, but you can toggle the Doom Wings on and off, and with them off, oh man, this stage can get hard. This level leaves no room for mistake. You have to master the spear tech, do a lot of tricky platforming, and run through the hazards Doomwing could just fly over. Those tornadoes are a lot more scary now. I'm really happy I decided to play this stage without the Doomwings, because it really did change my opinion on it. Not that I didn't like it before, but without them, it becomes a whole new level. That said, I do think Radical Highway being teased multiple times throughout the game kind of takes away from the experience. In the Space Colony arc, that's fine, but if it wasn't teased in the other levels, it would have been a lot more exciting, because Radical Highway doesn't really add anything that the other levels don't already do, minus the difficulty. If, let's say, the skating down the building part was saved for the standalone level, it would have felt more unique. Definitely not a disappointing stage or anything, but for a final level, I was expecting a tad bit more. Still a fantastic level though, with great design, but I will give it A tier. Tokyo is a very fun addition to Shadow Generations. Firstly, let's just talk about how breathtaking the graphics are for this stage. Whenever someone doubts Sonic Team's ability to make good graphics, this level should immediately silence that notion, because holy shit dude, this is AAA. Going inside and outside the buildings, the colors, I don't think a Sonic game has looked this good since Sonic Unleashed. Now for the gameplay, I think it's great. It doesn't add anything new like the other stages do, but honestly I don't think it needed to. This is a movie tie-in, so keeping it safe with an average stage is a good thing. I think it even improved on some things, such as the wall running. It flows way better than it did in Kingdom Valley, for example. It might appear to be a lot more closed off than the previous stages, but there's actually a crap ton of hidden paths to find. I've been finding new stuff every time I play it. The part where you enter the building always sticks out to me, specifically the part when you have the choice to either fall slowly or stomp down this hole. In any other Boost game, this would be largely automated, and I think the way they handled it here was very neat. There are also these little cards you can collect in the stage, which allow you to look at images of Movie Shadow in the collection room, which, hey, I like looking at Shadow. Sure, why not? Unfortunately, there is a major catch with the stage. It doesn't bother me as much as it does other people, but I cannot deny when I say that the spectacle holds back this stage big time. The spectacle in the previous stages were brief, it flowed very well, and served to further the story, versus here, where it looks freaking incredible. I mean, the missile part was crazy. The animation is top notch. That's not the issue. The problem is that the ratio of gameplay to spectacle is way off. Nearly half of the stage is automation. I get it, it's a movie tie-in. They want it to be cinematic. That's fine. However, it does hurt the replayability. I'm not an idiot. Spectacle in Sonic has always existed. Since the first game, it's a part of the series' DNA. It's supposed to wow you, like a roller coaster. But here, after the first playthrough, it can get a bit stale, which isn't how I feel about any of the other levels. Like, at all. More actual stage would have fixed this easily. If you worked your way up to seeing the cutscenes, it wouldn't feel like it's interrupting the gameplay. It should feel like it enhances it. Like, why can't we chaos control and spear all these missiles? That would have been awesome. However, I cannot deny that all this stuff looks so cool. I mean, the victory animation is nothing short of stellar. It's going to be iconic one day, and I adore the beginning cutscenes. They definitely nailed the look, feel, and sound. I just wish that in the actual level, the cutscenes weren't as overabundant as they are. In all though, the actual stage part is very good, but it doesn't leave a strong impression in terms of gameplay like Chaos Island or Kingdom Valley, so I'm going to give it B tier. As time goes on, I love Shadow Generations more and more. We haven't had a Sonic game this good since the original Generations. I was not expecting that. Generations was a golden standard for so many years. All I wanted out of this game was to match the quality of Sonic Generations, but dare I say Shadow Generations is better? The gimmicks enhance the gameplay instead of holding it back, the control is fluid, the game is mechanically rich. I mean, holy shit, dude, this title is almost everything I wanted out of a new Boost game. This is what I was hoping Sonic Forces would be. And don't get me started on the story. I'm not kidding. This is a video for another day, but all I will say for now is this is one of the most relatable and heartfelt stories in the franchise's history. If you're still not sure about getting Sonic X Shadow Generations yet, don't know what else to say to convince you. This game is freaking incredible. Every Sonic fan, new and old, needs to play this one. We are looking at one of the greats here. Now, my question to everyone is, how would you rank these stages? I'd love to know. Also, do you like Sonic? Good day.